All right. So this is where you take a moment, if you haven't already, and to just describe to yourself, list out to yourself how you would describe the brain. What comes up? Get in touch with your senses. What's the shape? What's the structure? What's the color and texture function? And then think of a plant that matches that. And then you've got yourself an argument. So the more the merrier usually, but sometimes there's just such a strong signature where one or two traits really indicate that it's a good herb for that system. So the argument layout would be hey, this plant is textured like the brain, therefore it has herbal properties that are good for the brain. It's so weird because we're definitely thinking the Doctrine of Signatures is not necessarily logic. It is using patterns and symbols, but we're defending it in a logical manner, which I think is ironic. But here we are, human beings that need to make a good argument statement. And so I'm just going to propose some methods that might help you create patterns. In the past, people have asked me, well, how do you do this? I'm just not getting it, or my brain doesn't think that way. And so that's why I'm spending time to help folks maybe come up with some kind of system or a process that might help them. And for those that think more web-like, this might work. So on one side, you can list the traits of the brain, and the other side lists the traits of a plant. Or just get this far, and maybe that'll already jog your memory. Make a list think about the brain, go through pictures of plants. But I made the list. So yeah, wrinkled, the pineal's round, it's kind of eye-like, maybe a little almond-shaped, contains optic nerves. The brain is soft within a hard skull. It's for memory and remembrance. It has 2 lobes. And that thalamus within the corpus callosum definitely inspires the imagination. And then I took ginkgo and I described ginkgo. It's gooey seeds within a casing. There are smooth parallel veins on the leaf. The leaf can be bilobed. The seed is oval and eye-shaped. If you get a chance to see the seeds, you're very lucky because a lot of people won't let female ginkgos grow. Very stinky seeds, very stinky fruits. The leaves are, they have these long parallel veins. Oh, I believe I mentioned that on there. Okay. And then it is one of the oldest surviving trees. It's a dino tree. And that makes me think about memory, being an old or an elder. And then you get to play matchup. So the thalamus within the corpus callosum might resemble that gooey seed within a casing. The pineal kind of looks like that seed too. That layer within a layer look that you'll see here in a bit looks like the seed as well. And that the brain remembers, it's in charge of memory. And I think ginkgo also is kind of an ancient old tree that remembers the old times. And not everything has a match, and that's okay. Oh, there's one more. The brain has 2 lobes, and then those leaves can be I wouldn't say bifurcated, but they definitely have a notch taken out of it. So it's a little lobed. And that's okay. Not everything is a signature. So some people they like things a little bit more organized. They want lists or bullet points. And these are the same traits that I just listed, just a different format. It just depends on what your learning style is. Yeah. So you can just play matchup. You can draw lines and find connections that way, or highlight whatever resonates with you. And then this would be more of a final step of organization. You probably wouldn't start out like this because you wouldn't know what's overlapping, but hey, former teacher, got to throw out a Venn diagram, right? So this would be hey, this is what I've come up with. It's not a bad argument. I've got 4 points here that say ginkgo brain. So I consider that a win, and I consider those signatures. And then there's your ginkgo. Let's see. I'm going to keep going because I haven't seen Alberto pop on with any questions. So I'm going to keep plowing through here. So yeah, let's talk about some brain herbs here. And I put the image up so the end of the organ with the plants here so you can kind of start comparing. Some of them you do have to take a little bit of a stretch. Now, for me, I know that this isn't perfect. But if you look at a brain from down the middle, it does remind me of that. And honestly, my intuition was just singing at me when I realized that. So I had a little bit of something kind of just saying, no, that's signature too. And I was going to trust that. And then here's the fruits. And honestly, you can eat these as a food, but you have to not eat a lot. It does have some constituents. You just don't want a lot of at once. So don't make yourself sick. And if you can find them I'll say if you're in the Twin Cities area of Minnesota and you go to St. Paul and you go to the Arboretum, they accidentally planted female trees. You can find them there. I found them there before anyone told me how, like they're kind of cheesy, stinky. And yeah, let's just say you can find them if you want them. And I like this picture. This is not a picture of mine, but I just kind of liked how the seed there is in front of, the rest of the leaves. So here we have ginkgo biloba, and it is the only member of its family, Ginkgo acae. I mean, it's old. There's not a lot of people around yet. Oops, sorry, wrong way arrow. So we talked about those signatures already, that the leaf was bilobed, the seed shape and structure is there. And the signature really is the combination efforts of I'm describing it and I'm telling you what I think it looks like, or what it represents in our bodies. So I'm hinting at it. The seed shape, orb shaped, eye shaped, oldest tree knows things. I will say this is one that didn't make it over there because it was a later notice, but look at how these petioles, these are like, basically it's the leaf stem. These are the petioles right here. You can see I'm tracing them. They're really basic looking to me. This whole tree, and I'm not saying basic in the way that the young kids are saying basic. Basic meaning simple, old, like the prototype. I love how old and like jigsaw puzzly this tree is. I have grown to appreciate its just basic structure, tinker toyish so much. But this looks like nerves coming out of the spine. And I'm trying to remember if I included a picture of that, maybe a little later on. But it looks like the spine here with just all the nerve endings coming out. So this is the intelligence. And I like to refer to the plant as having intelligence. It just seems very respectful. And it truly is something that they've garnished. It's what they're good at, like their talent. So I call it intelligence. But you can say, what is it good for as well. And this is the data. This is coming from, herbalists. This is what they say, that yes, it does help with cerebral function, especially cerebral function due to lack of circulation. So it is a circulation herb, which also means it's going to be good for the eyes. And if you're thinking about like, lack of circulation to the brain, lack of circulation to the eyes, if you're thinking that this is putting together like an Alzheimer's picture, a dementia picture, and even I would put in there a diabetic type of profile. And we're not saying that, we're going to put our disclaimer out there that we don't treat, cure, diagnose, but we certainly can assist with these. This is an herb that's matching a profile that says, yeah, give me a whirl for this stuff. It is for cerebral, typo there, insufficiency. It does help with anxiety. It's anti-inflammatory, antioxidant. That's going to bring down stress. We were just talking about how inflammation can really build